It happened on the mysterious Isle of Seacliffe by Ian Gordon. 6. The Critters. December 28th, 8:15 a.m. Following a restful, contemplative evening and an exceptionally good night's sleep, almost entirely free of disturbances outside, I was thrilled again to be the recipient of another cooked breakfast courtesy of Miss Black. Blackened sausages, poached eggs, toasted wholemeal, and fat, succulent tomatoes. But still, the coffee on the side wasn't to my liking. That licorice aftertaste completely ruined it. Now, I said that my night's rest had been almost free of disturbances. The truth of the matter is that I arose at something past 4 to visit the little boy's room, and, upon my return to bed, I happened to hear once more that relentless, shrill, insectile droning out on the square. Briefly, I pulled the curtains aside and gazed out across the dark precinct. And there they were again, just barely visible, those crab-like, unwieldy forms gliding back and forth. I simply must query the matter with Miss Black. December 28th, 9 a.m. Having praised the landlady rather verbosely for the cooking of a sizable breakfast, I proceeded to ask her about the strange things I'd heard and all but seen in the early hours. Somewhat reluctantly, Miss Black agreed to speak on the subject. She says that the creatures in question are what she and other Seacliffe natives refer to as the Critters, inhabitants of the now abandoned lead mine, beings that, for some reason or other, and only in the wee hours, leave the comfort of the mines in order to feast upon plankton and seaweed at high tide. Miss Black neglected to add much else, but volunteered the name of a retired miner, Mr. James Johnston, who, she assures me, won't need much encouragement to talk about the critters. And so it's with that assurance in mind that I'm off to pay Johnston a visit, for I'm convinced somehow that the role these creatures play in devouring plankton and algae is connected to the return of the sleeping king. December 28th, 1:30 p.m. Johnston, what a character! Armed with the vague directions Miss Black supplied me with, I took off in search of Johnston's cottage on Clarence Place. Exiting the market square to the north, I traversed a number of tight lanes and terraced avenues and continued to the northwest, frequently stopping to admire the colourful frontages and well-manicured yards. Arriving at the junction of Grape Lane and Silver Street, I felt that strange sensation of familiarity come over me again. Though Silver Street beckoned, I was relieved to espy a signpost indicating that Clarence Place would be found at the end of Grape Lane. I say relieved, because the weird street that called to me was a grey and deserted thoroughfare, a terraced cul-de-sac composed entirely of bleak, dilapidated townhouses, their dark doors and windows arranged in such a fashion as to suggest grim, forlorn faces. Whatever it was that implied some sort of intimacy with the place, I sensed that it had its origins in the distant past. Somewhat zealously, I traversed Grape Lane, a brighter, more welcoming street, and made my way onto Clarence Place. Johnston's cottage, notable as the only pink-fronted cottage on the road, was impossible to miss. Without hesitation, I rapped upon the door. My knocking seemed to alert the neighbours before it did the occupant of number 13 himself. Curious faces appeared in the windows of the adjacent properties, faces, it appeared to me, that hadn't seen the sun in many years. Following my second bout of knocking, the distinctive shuffle of a human being sounded on the other side of the pink portal, and, in quick succession, the door was unlocked and yanked open. Johnston was an elderly character indeed. His colourless face was deeply wrinkled and leathery, upon the rosy alcoholic nose of which sat a pair of massive pebble glasses, reducing his tired grey eyes to mere pinpoints. The man scowled as he assessed me, and then, rather unexpectedly, and quite enthusiastically at that, invited me inside. I followed Johnston into a disordered lounge, a hoarder's living room if ever I'd seen one. The space was a shrine to all things trash, from soiled books and magazines to boxed electrical appliances and stacks of folded clothes. Amongst the clutter, I spotted a small table and chairs, to which the old fellow guided me. Sitting, I cut to the chase. "Annie Black tells me you know a thing or two about Morton Lead Mine. Is that right?" "A thing or two?" the old man repeated, his wiry eyebrows ascending as he did so. "I knows everything there is to know about Morton Lead Mine." His voice was hoarse and his throat was thick with phlegm. I prayed to the sleeping king that he wouldn't cough any of it up in my company. "Can you tell me about the critters?" I asked. 2 on 1, he blurted, or something to that effect. Either he was speaking in tongues, or he was mumbling in a foreign language, for he continued to mutter unintelligibly for several moments. "Excuse me?" I uttered, perplexed. "Drove us out of the mines, those things," Johnston continued clumsily. "They were there all along, living, watching, plotting. Had to come to the surface, those things. Had to clear the way. Takes time to clear the way, friend." 2 on 1. "Clear the way?" I asked. "Clear the way for him, friend. Him who must return. You knows, don't you?" It was obvious the man was referring to the sleeping king. "It's the weed," he continued. "The congeries. He can't stand it. You've got to understand, friend. This place isn't like other places. Engineered that way. Every 50 years he comes home. Didn't feed too well in 40. The mine, you see, blocked the critters. The weed was too much for him. Can't stand the stuff he can't." I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it was plain to see that the old miner was losing his thread. He was becoming agitated, repetitive. From what I could gather, Johnston was suggesting that the sleeping king was unable to tolerate coastal plankton and seaweed. In the winter of 1940, owing to the active mining of lead, the critters were trapped underground, unable to clear the way for the return of their master. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? "Seen 'em this year, have you, friend?" the old man asked. "I think so," I said. Much to my disgust, Johnston laughed, and with the din spewed forth a smattering of black mucus. "Ah, feed well he will this year. 2 on 1. And the elderly miner cackled again, which acted as my cue to leave. I thanked Johnston for his time, and, declining to shake the flaking hand he proffered, I showed myself out and sauntered into the dampness of noon. I looked to the west, and there, high above the rooftops, towered the striking headstocks of Morton Lead Mine. Having some indication as to what it was that resided below those structures, I couldn't help but regard the steel monstrosities as macabre beacons, landmarks serving to remind the islanders of that which lives and breathes beneath its soil. Continuing, Silver Street, the grey dilapidated cul-de-sac, caught my eye again as I came to the end of Grape Lane. What was it about that ghastly place that tempted me so? I shuddered and shuffled on. Presently, I am sitting by the window of my suite, looking out towards the open sea. Most of the dark clouds have passed. I think we might be in for clear skies tonight. As for the old miner and his words of wisdom regarding the critters, I can only speculate as to how all these seemingly disconnected elements of strangeness come together in the presence of an ancient deity. It makes one wonder about the history of the isle in geological terms, about the history of the entire planet in geological terms. What might have dwelt here in the distant past? Strange, alien creatures seeking refuge following world-ending cataclysms? More worryingly, what might have survived here all this time, and what else might have evolved alongside such things to sustain those long survivals? I've much to consider. I think it's time for a sandwich. Thanks for listening today, folks. Join us again tomorrow for the next part.